because potential life isn't life.
It's not.
Okay. Even if you don't consider it life, why would you take away?
Whoa. No, it's not if. No one should. It's not if. Potential life isn't life. That's why it's called potential life.
Okay.
So there's no if. There's no if. Like there's no if.
Okay. Do you think a flower is alive? Do you think a flower is alive? Do you think a flower is alive?
A flower is alive? Yeah.
Yeah. So what's the difference between like a flower and an embryo, right?
Well, the flower has like a functioning system, right?
And the embryo doesn't. If the embryo didn't have any sort of growth or life at all, it wouldn't be able to develop.
Like, would you feel bad if I ripped a flower out of the ground?
No, because a flower would never grow into a human baby.
Wait. Okay, wait. So why would you not give it moral consideration?
Babies are more
because the flowers. Because babies are more valuable. The flower's never going to grow into a human baby and have a conscious experience.
Just barring babies, right? Barring babies, right? If I go around and mow down trees and some flowers and stuff, would you be upset at me? Like, would you say like I did something atrocious?
No.
Ileana.
Okay, why? What is the like differentiator for that? Why not?
Because those flowers are never gonna have that as much value to me as a human baby would.
Okay, I didn't bring a baby. I just like, but it will have value to you at all? Like would you care at all? Like barring babies, just like
I mean,
I'm not even talking about babies. Right?
Unless you affected the environment in some way by the amount of flowers.
If I take the flower out of the ground, do you think I killed that flower?
Yes.
I mean, probably not instantly, but I wouldn't care.
Okay, why not? Why wouldn't you care?
Because the flower.
And ignore babies. I'm not talking about babies. Why wouldn't you care about flowers?
Because the flower isn't having any conscious experiences.
Perfect. So then would you say it's okay to abort something that doesn't have a conscious experience?
No, because eventually a baby will have a conscious experience.
Eventually. So it
yes,
won't.
eventually.
Eventually means not now. Eventually means it doesn't currently.
Yes, correct.
I don't care about eventually.
Why not?
Because it doesn't have a conscious.
I love abortion.
Okay, do you care about?
I just led you through, just real quick. Under the logic I just led you through, right? Because it doesn't have a conscious experience, a current conscious experience, it doesn't. It really, there's no reason to give it moral consideration. In the
you don't. So you won't. So you don't have to give. Hold on, I gotta mute this person. Oh my goodness. So you don't have to give moral consideration to anything if it's not happening in the present.
I mean.
If it's not conscious, I have no reason to give it moral consideration.
Yeah, I don't get your argument.
Why not? Like, if it's not going to be conscious, yeah, like...
It's not conscious.
Right, that's how I feel about the flower. I don't have to give it more consideration because it's not conscious, right? But with the... Oh, I gotta mute this guy too. Oh my goodness. Sorry, people are being super loud. I have to mute a lot of people.
Yeah, I'm muting people. So like, in the same way that I don't give flowers moral consideration because they're not conscious entities, they can't experience pain, like they don't know what it's like to experience, right? Are they alive? Sure, I'm not going to deny they're alive in some capacity, but they can't experience or do anything of like moral worth. Therefore, I don't value their moral, I don't value them morally. In the same way,
it seems like
a fetus, right, that doesn't have a conscious experience yet, right? Are they a life? Sure, I'm not going to deny they're a life. But they're not like a life that I give moral consideration because they can't experience pain, they can't think, they can't they're not conscious.
Right. So it seems like you're making a huge disconnect between when the baby is like, between when you consider it having life or not, whenever that is, whether it's like while it's in the womb or after its birth, whenever that is, right? You're not making a connection between when it will have a conscious experience and when it isn't having a conscious experience, aka like the present and the future, right? So, did you hear my popsicle?
That fetus has life, it just doesn't have consciousness.
Right, I know. I meant like living a life, not just like alive, but like actually.
Okay, yeah, sure. Like it doesn't experience. It can't experience until it has a consciousness.
So, did you hear my popsicle analogy? I feel like that applies pretty perfectly here. Okay, so I said, if someone pours a bunch of orange juice into a cup, then puts a popsicle stick in that cup, sticks it in the freezer. Yo, Za, unless you want to have a discussion with me, like just go away. Like, if you want to have a discussion, wait in line. Like, just stop leaving little comments here and there. Like, it's no point. Okay, let's say someone puts a popsicle stick in a cup of orange juice, right? Puts that in the freezer. You take it out and you dump out all the orange juice. And they say, hey, why did you do that? That was going to be a popsicle. And you say, well, it was just orange juice, so why do you care? Well, it was going to be a popsicle. I mean, the reason I put it in the freezer is so that it would be a popsicle. You're like, well, it was just orange juice right now, so it doesn't matter. Well, it was going to be a popsicle eventually.
The person who chose, well, no, this is actually, that's good, but, so, the person that chose, I'm assuming I dumped it out, I'm not the one who, like, was making the popsicle in the first place. Right. I dumped out somebody else's popsicle, right? Yeah. Yeah, I dumped out their popsicle without them wanting me to. Would you say, on the flip side, right? I'll ask you a question before I like continue my answer.
You look at Discord.
If I make a popsicle, right, and then like 2 minutes later I go, you know what? I don't want a popsicle anymore, and I dump out the orange juice. Right. Is that bad?
No.
I was making the popsicle and I dumped it out. The difference is, right? The difference is because somebody was making
I see the difference. No, I see the difference.
And they wanted that popsicle to become a popsicle, and I stopped that from happening.
No, I get it. The point of the popsicle analogy isn't to make you feel bad for the person making the popsicle.
Analogous. I'm just saying it's not fully analogous. An actual analogous situation from like comparing popsicle to abortions would be if somebody was planning on giving birth to a baby, and I go and like I kick him in the stomach and I kill the baby.
No, I see what you're saying.
If they were planning on having that baby, then yeah, that would be analogous, and that would be bad. Yeah. So me
I see what you're saying.
Popsicle when they didn't want me to.
I understand what you're saying.
Yeah,
I understand what you're saying.
To carry it to term.
I understand what you're saying, but the point of that analogy isn't to make you feel bad for the person who's making the popsicle. That's not really the point. The point is to give you the connection between the present and the future. Like the present, this thing isn't what it will be in the future. But the point is, you need to let it progress to what it will be in the future, so that it will have that value.
Well, no. I would say if somebody was making a popsicle, the only way me dumping it out would be bad is if that person making the popsicle did not want me to dump it out. Then it would be bad. If they were completely at peace with me dumping out the orange juice, then it wouldn't be bad, no, because they gave me they're cool with it. In the same way, if somebody wants to give birth to a baby and I stop that from happening without them wanting it to, then I did something bad. But if I give them an abortion and they wanted the abortion, I don't think it's bad.
Yeah, you're making the same point as you were before. I said the point of the analogy isn't to make you feel bad for the person using the popsicle or trying to create the popsicle. The point of the analogy isn't about morality at all. It's to make a connection between the present and the future.
Educational conversation.
And again, you said that the point of the analogy is to show that, like, say it again. The point of the analogy is to show what?
To show the connection between the present and the future. Even though in the present it may not seem valuable because that's not what you want, right? In the future, it's going to be the finished product, so you have to let it develop to that point.
Well, it will only be it'll only be the finished product if it doesn't get dumped out, right? If the orange juice doesn't get dumped out.
Right.
So if the person, so again, if the person making the popsicle wants it to be the finished product, then yes, me dumping it out would be bad. But if they don't want it to be a popsicle, then me dumping it out wouldn't be bad.
You're bringing morals into the analogy again.
Well, because you are talking about morals, like even if it's secondhand.
He's talking.
No, in the analogy, I'm not. In the analogy, I'm ignoring all morals.
The analogy isn't about morals. It's talking about choice.
Right. It's like it's like something is.
And like not being able to take other people's popsicles.
Right. Same as a baby, right? It's developing. Okay. Same as a baby, it's developing. Okay.
Yeah.
Ending that process is an action you are taking. All actions are morally neutral unless you can come up with reasons that they aren't. Right.
Okay. Sure.
So I'm saying taking the action of getting an abortion is morally, is immoral, right? Because...
Wait, I thought this wasn't about morality.
I said getting an abortion, not making a popsicle.
Well, they're analogous things, we can say either.
Well, I'm not using them interchangeably because the abortion
would be analogous to dumping the orange juice in the sink. Right? So dumping the orange juice in the sink is a bad thing, you say?
No, that's
analogy
not.
Wise.
No, I'm not saying dumping the orange juice is...
It's an analogy.
Okay, I'm not saying dumping the orange juice is immoral, especially because the orange juice won't eventually grow into a sentient popsicle. I'm saying dumping the orange
that's
juice
fine.
is interrupting a process.
Yeah, right. And so is that interruption of process bad?
In the case of abortion, it is. But if you were literally
But not-
talking
wait.
about a popsicle, no, it wouldn't be. Because the popsicle isn't going to grow into a sentient thing.
I think it's
Wait,
like
but so
you're not,
these are two
you're not
so these are
taking the
two these are
analogy
analogous
seriously.
situations.
Like,
These
you're
are two
taking
analogous
what part
situations, and you're
of the
bringing
analogy
morals
you,
into
like,
one of
want to
analogy.
follow.
You're saying that there's two situations that are analogous to
No,
each
the
other, but you're
abortion.
only talking about morality with one of them.
Right, because the analogy I
Well,
made
then
with the
they're not-
popsicle thing.
Then you admit they're not analogous.
The analogy I made with the
I think what
popsicle
he's trying
thing
to say is
wasn't a
he's using-
one-to-one scenario, including the morals. The analogy I made with the popsicle thing was to get you to see the connection between the present and the future, and if you take action between that, it stops whatever process is happening. Okay, that's all the analogy was for.
Okay,
But
yeah,
the
it
analogy
does
has
stop
to be
it.
for the
Why
whole
is the
thing.
why
No,
is
it
the
doesn't.
stopping bad though?
I'm
I
not.
think you said earlier, right? You
The
said
stop-
earlier that most things you said like a minute ago that most things are morally neutral unless you have like a good reason to do it, right?
Well, most things are morally neutral unless you provide
I think we
a.
should kill
whether it's
You
babies.
said
neutral or
you
not.
said things are morally neutral unless there's like a good or bad reason, then it becomes
Right, yeah.
moral or immoral, yeah?
Yeah, yeah.
So then using the I'm gonna use the analogy of the popsicle, right?
Kill
Okay.
babies.
Dumping out that cup of orange juice, right?
Hmm.
Could be immoral if that person wants the popsicle,
Right.
but could be actually it probably wouldn't be moral, but it would remain like morally neutral if they don't want the popsicle. Then
Right.
it wouldn't matter if I dump out the orange juice.
Yeah.
Can we stab babies?
In the case because it's an analogy in the case of abortion, right?
Hmm.
The abortion would be, I guess, immoral if the mother didn't want or didn't want a baby.
Throw babies away.
And me aborting it would be immoral. If they did want a baby, like me kicking a woman in the stomach, pretty immoral,
Mhm.
especially if that woman wanted the baby.
Able to stab these
But if that
babies.
woman doesn't want the baby,
The
aborting it wouldn't be immoral, or at the very least, it'd be morally neutral.
I see what you're
As
saying.
an analogy.
Yeah, I understand the connection you're making, but the whole reason I made the popsicle analogy, excluding all morals and just to purely make a connection between present and future, is because if you include morals, it doesn't become equal to the abortion. Because the popsicle isn't going to be sentient and have conscious experiences, but the baby will. So I see the baby as way
Sure.
more valuable than the popsicle. So throwing away the popsicle
I think
wouldn't matter
babies are more
nearly as
valuable
much
than
as...
popsicles too. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm saying that when you include morals in the analogy, it doesn't work anymore. It's not hand in hand. But if you exclude the morals and you only use like the future and present and interrupting the process, it's a one-to-one analogy.
So what makes something like immoral?
I don't know. I
Well,
guess
we don't
doing.
need to, come on, man.
I mean,
No. What are you talking about?
I mean,
I'm
That's like
sorry,
such
what
a
is something immoral?
hypothetical question.
right. I mean, I haven't
It's not
really.
even- wait, that's okay. You have no idea what that word even means. If you're saying
The
hypothetical
thing,
question.
the.
It's not. What does immoral mean to you?
Well,
To you,
thing
it's
is,
a
like, I don't know if you're gonna like take my definition and apply it to something where it doesn't apply and make me keep refining my definition because I haven't thought about my definition for what makes something moral or immoral. But at least in the case of abortion, I would say what makes something immoral is that it causes more harm than good.
More harm than good. So like harm to what or who?
Just net negative or net positive.
Yeah, but like you said harm, right? So
Right.
what would
Well,
be,
it doesn't
what
have to
would be
cause harm to
harmed?
one specific person.
Sure. So what would be harmed in aborting a 2-week-old fetus?
The fetus's future.
So the not be harmed. Gotcha.
The fetus's future is existent until you.
Fetus's
make-
future doesn't exist. No.
How doesn't the?
Over here.
If the future is if the feet.
Hey.
Because
sorry,
there's
if
no
the fetus
present
is.
even. There's not even a present. There's no present.
What?
The baby
What?
doesn't have a present.
I think
it
for
doesn't
a
exist.
particular reason.
How doesn't
you're
if it doesn't exist? What are you referring to?
Is it because she's black?
So when you say like future, right? Like I have a future.
No.
Right?
Because
Yeah.
I am alive. I'm alive and well. I'm
Yeah.
present on this earth. I exist
hear
in
what I
like
just
time.
heard?
You know.
Yeah.
Did
Huh?
I hear
No.
what I
And
just
so
heard?
like I have a future.
No, you
right?
didn't. No.
Mhm.
I have a past because obviously I've experienced this kind of. You know. I'm not
Yeah.
saying it's not alive. So I'm not sure where you're agree.
Whoa,
It
calm down,
is
buddy.
alive in a
Never
sense.
played
Right?
Hold on, sorry, I gotta
Same
mute
way a
this
plant is
people.
Hey,
alive.
come back, please don't leave me.
Uh-huh.
The 2-week-old fetus is alive in the same way a plant's probably alive. Honestly, I'd probably say a flower could probably be more alive than it, depending on like what definition of life we're talking about.
Uh-huh.
But I have a future because obviously I'm alive right now, so like I can obviously say like I'm probably gonna have a future. I definitely have a past because I have memories of my past. I have experiences I can speak back to, right?
Right.
And I have a present, and I have a present because I am living right now. I'm talking to you, right? You know.
Yeah.
I would say things can't really have a future or a past if they don't have a present, right?
Okay, so would you say that like a pencil has a future or a past?
Like no.
Okay, so if a pencil is sitting on my desk and I decide that I'm gonna pick it up,
The pencil has no experience of present, future, past.
right? It doesn't have
I
to experience
of,
to.
of this pencil's past.
It doesn't have to have
experiences
experience
in the
to be like on our timeline, you know?
Shut up.
Oh.
Well, no, exactly.
Oh. We're on his
That
side,
pencil
dummy.
exists on our timeline, on my timeline.
No, I'm on this
Right?
side. No,
Like,
I'm
did
on
On the
pencil exist
general,
in the
on
past?
it exists
Did
in
the
our
pencil
reality.
exist in the past? Certainly, the pencil
Yeah.
did exist in the past.
You
but,
know,
like,
I don't
that
remember.
pencil
Listen to
has
me.
no. That pencil has no past. Like there is
The
no
fact that the pencil
past
did
of
exist
that
in the
pencil that we
past
can
is
speak
the
of.
past of the pencil.
It's
Man,
just
I'm
no, it's
bored.
just my experience of that pencil. It's based off of my observation and my
Okay.
experience.
Let's say
Pencil doesn't have an experience.
Let's say I bought a pencil from the store and I snapped it in half as soon as I got home, okay? In the past, that pencil wasn't snapped in half. In the future, it will still be snapped in half.
Based off of your you determine that based off of your experience.
So you're saying, okay.
Like,
What about-
did the pencil exist in the past? Certainly, but it has no experience of the past.
Okay,
To the
so what
pencil,
about
the word past doesn't exist for the pencil. The pencil doesn't live in the present. It just like because there's no conscious to experience things. In the
Okay,
same way that
so
like, there is no
if
the
a
tweakle
tree
fetus can't experience what it means to be. So it never was.
What are
and
you
it
talking about me?
Isn't until it is.
No.
Okay, so let's say there's a tree in the forest. Nobody has ever seen that tree before. One day, the tree falls down. Okay? Is that tree currently falling over? Was that tree once standing up? Is that in the past that the tree was once standing up? Even though nobody's there to experience that tree standing up or falling over, did it stand up and fall over, or does none of it matter because none of it is in the present or the past or the future? Just because nobody was there to experience it.
In the present, so in the present, that tree is fallen over, right? But no one will know until a human has sees that tree being fallen over.
Right, but why
And
does
then
someone
we'll
need to
that
know
tree-
for it to logically be in the present or the past?
So like that tree would have fallen over, right? No matter if a human saw it or not, right?
Uh-huh.
But there would be no reference of that tree being fallen over until a human has or experiences it being fell over.
Yeah, but I don't
Okay,
think
so we know about
time.
trees, if it's fallen over, it obviously in the past at one point was not fallen over, but that is we can only ever determine that by human experience. That there's no tree experience.
Right, I'm talking about time, literally, like, everything has a past because we are currently in the present, okay? I don't think
Has a
that...
past, but like I'm not talking about just like has a past. I'm talking about experiencing a past and experiencing a present, experiencing what it's like to be in the present, experiencing
so
what it's
do
like
you
to
think-
have lived in the past and experience. You can experience the future because you know that a future is future as a term is a like hypothetical like term we use just for like a possibility. But we can experience the present, we can experience the past through our memories. Pencils, trees can't do that. They
Okay,
can't
so
experience
5
the
minutes
present,
ago, you
experience
said
the
you
past.
have a future, is that correct?
Like I have a future because I think I would, but like I can't actually like future is like it's a hypothetical term, you know, because like we can't, you know, I could die literally right now and I wouldn't have
Right.
any idea.
Right.
So like when I say future, I mean it like just like as
But
a-
I would
as
have
like
an
a-
idea.
as like an allegorical thing. Well, you know, no one really knows what like
I'm saying,
future, like, we
you
know
if
it-
you
there's a
died
meaning,
right
there's a
now...
word for it, you know?
Okay, so do you have a future or no?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, I think so too.
I can assume so, but I wouldn't know that.
Okay. So the baby also has a future, And just because it can't assume it has a future or doesn't have a future doesn't mean that it definitely doesn't have a future, right? It doesn't mean that its future is purely hypothetical, right? Its future is most likely unless someone intervenes with that. Just like you're probably going to survive, and you know you're probably going to survive, which is probably why you think you also have a future, unless someone, like, shoots you in the back of the head right now. There's no way for you to know that definitely won't happen, but it probably won't.
Exactly, yeah. Yeah. That's true.
So that would be someone intervening with your probable future.
Correct, yeah. Because
I'm saying intervening with a fetus's probable future is immoral, because its probable future is a conscious experience.
But why do you value my probable future?
Because you would be alive.
What does that mean, like, alive? Like, can you, like, I know the definition for it, but like what does that mean to you?
Okay,
because plants are alive, do you value their future?
No. I value your
we're going
future.
Back to plants, right? But why? Okay, well, why do you value mine over plants when we're both alive? What
Because
is the differentiator? Like, is it again? We could probably go back to.
Yes, consciousness.
We could probably go back to consciousness. Yes. Skill, rational mind, consciousness.
Yes. So a plant in the future still will not be conscious, but you in the future will be conscious. A baby in the future will be conscious. If I'm asleep, I'm unconscious. In the future, I will be conscious.
Will means it's not yet. Yeah, will means
right, but I care.
I
care about
the
future.
That means you're still conscious when you're asleep. I hate to break.
Right. No. Okay, I didn't mean in the literal sense of like having consciousness itself. I'm saying like I'm unconscious when I'm sleeping, meaning like I'm asleep, right? I'm not awake, right?
Yeah,
not in the same sense that a baby is unconscious when it's in the womb, right? But when I'm sleeping, I'm unconscious. In the future, I'll be conscious.
Usually, babies before 24 weeks don't even have consciousness. They have zero. There is no consciousness to speak of.
Right.
They're not asleep. They're just not even. They don't exist. Like they don't exist as a mind.
Okay, so would you agree with an abortion after 24 weeks?
So I am on the bridge on that. I am for sure okay with abortions before the consciousness forms. I've heard arguments for after, like why it should be allowed. I've heard arguments for not. But I am leaning towards the side of just like I know throughout American history especially, right? Women's suffrage has been a huge issue, right? And restricting rights to women has been extremely problematic throughout history. And so I think continuing to restrict rights to women, including in this, would be also extremely problematic. But I also understand my mind is morally I don't think it would be okay to abort a sixth, even five, 6th, 7th month fetus. Morally, I don't think it'd be okay. But what I think would even be less okay is restricting rights to women. And so I'm on the bridge of it. I'm on the rope. I don't know. But what I will say is before conscious experience, I'm all okay with it.
For me,
I'm just grappling my morals versus what I think should be enacted in law. I don't think it's good to restrict rights to women that are literally here in front of me for a baby that doesn't really isn't born yet.
Right.
I'm on the bridge of it, I don't know. It's I don't really. It's do I personally like it? Maybe not. But am I gonna make it illegal for women to do it? Probably not. Also.
Right. So let me move this guy. So I understand what you're saying, but at least in my case, I would take a 7 or 8 month old baby's life as more valuable than a woman's right to kill that baby. Sure. I think it's important to protect women's rights.
Just as secondary information, every case I have ever heard of or known about a woman getting those late-term abortions have been to protect herself and her life.
Right.
Not because she wanted to. It's usually to protect her life.
Yeah, that makes
sense. In that case, I am actually also all for that. I'm okay with killing an 8-month fetus to protect the woman's life if she's gonna die.
So difference is I'm not I say protect the baby's life because in general, in total, it's gonna
die.
Yeah, because as long as she's 18 plus, because in total it's gonna be more years lived across those two people instead of years lived across that one person, right?
I mean, yikes, dude.
it's more years lived in total. That's what I'm going for, is people being alive and
I mean,
getting the chance
sure,
at life,
but,
because
like,
I think everybody deserves a chance to experience life.
I mean, sure. I mean, yeah, I suppose. I just, I don't know.
Yeah, that's okay. Alright, well, good job, man. You did a good job. I hope you have a good day. Oh, did you want to debate me? Because you
I was gonna
weren't.
destroy you in that debate. You knew it. You knew it.
Did-
That's why you blacklisted me, bro.
Do you want to debate me?
Yeah, I will debate you, and I'm gonna win that debate. 'Cause
Okay,
I'm
I'll
like a massive debater, you know
I'll
what I'm
unblock
saying?
this. I didn't think you were here to debate.
Yeah,
You were
I'm-
just like
I'm
kind of
the
talking about
debater,
random
actually.
stuff.
He's a master
Okay,
debater.
let's go. Talk to me then.
I'm gonna wait my line. I'm gonna wait my spot. Fight Club.
Okay, what do you thought about Fight Club? I love that
It's not a
movie.
debate,
Great
pal.
movie.
Get him out of here. Get this guy out of here.
Me next.
Get the larva out. Get the larva out. Kick it out. Kick
Kick
it.
him out of here.
Yes.
Alright,
My mom was.
but why are you anti-abortion?
Because I think it's immoral to take away someone's right to life.
At what extent are you anti-abortion? Like,
18 plus, for those 18 plus, I don't think there should be any exceptions unless both the mother and the baby are going to die during birth.
so like a plan B, you want that to be illegal.
Well, it depends. If I don't know exactly how the plan B works in the woman's body, but if the plan B works by preventing the pregnancy from happening, then no, it shouldn't be illegal. But if it works by killing the baby with chemical warfare inside the woman's body after it started developing, then yes, I do think it should be illegal.
Chemical warfare, huh?
I mean, it's a chemical, and you're killing the baby with a chemical, so yeah.
Yeah, it's a warfare.
What's your question? Okay, well, I was kind of messing around.
You think it like starts at conception, right?
I don't think it matters when it starts. I think, but sure, yeah.
You are right,
Well,
lad.
I think that it's not immoral, like
I just
past
left
a
it,
certain extent.
I'm doing it,
You know what
are
I'm
you?
saying?
Sorry,
Like,
say that again. What?
6 weeks because they're not alive yet, right? So, would you?
How's it not
like,
alive yet?
How is it not alive? Because it doesn't have the process. Right?
Sorry, I gotta
I'll
mute
give you
these
like a
people behind you.
hypothetical. If you just like ejaculate, are you killing like billions of people? You're not.
No.
Yes.
That's not how it
Of course
works.
not. So, doing that,
I
right,
can't hear
is
you, but I'm
different
not gonna lie.
because
Hold on.
okay.
There, I got him.
Doing that is different because in that case you're not taking any action to prevent lives from being created, but in the case of an abortion you are taking action to prevent a natural process that is already in action to you're stopping that from happening. So
Alright, can you repeat that?
okay, so let's say you're just in bed alone and you do that into a sock, right? You're not killing anything because they were never going to eventually grow and develop into anything else because there was no woman present, right? They weren't, it wasn't a fertilized egg, right? You're just like doing nothing, basically, okay? But if it is a fertilized egg and you kill that thing, you end that process, then, yes, you are killing a living thing because it will grow and develop, it has living cells and everything. If you cut that off, the cells will die and it will stop growing and developing. You're killing that thing. I don't really think the fact of if you're killing it or not is debatable because it's like biologically you are killing a living thing, making it cease to exist.
So, why is it bad if you kill something that doesn't have consciousness?
Because eventually it will have consciousness, and you know how long that will be until it will, and its consciousness is going to be inconvenient for you or a burden to you or cause you mental anguish, and that's the whole reason that you're killing it and stopping it from ever having life in the first place.
What do you, like, can
Huh?
he disconnected? Can you say that again?
Yeah,
Sorry.
yeah, you're okay. So, when you do kill that thing, even though it doesn't have consciousness, you're preventing it from ever having consciousness, right? So, let's say, somebody pours a bunch of orange juice into a cup, right? And they put a popsicle stick in there because they want to make a popsicle. So they put that in the freezer to wait for it to freeze and make a popsicle, right? But then you grab it out of the freezer and you dump out all the juice. And they say, hey, why did you do that? I was going to make a popsicle. And they say, no. And you say, well, it wasn't a popsicle yet, so why do you care? It's like, well, it was going to be a popsicle, Yeah, but it wasn't a popsicle yet. It was just a bunch of juice. Like,
Boner.
yeah, it was gonna be a popsicle. You kind of stopped it from being a popsicle.
Well, yeah, but your
know?
sperm could also potentially be a baby. That's the
Not on its own. Not on its
more
own.
like based
So
on morality opposite.
no, not on its own. So if your sperm was all on its own, there's no potential of it being a baby.
Yeah, and the baby would have never been a baby without the woman feeding it with her nutrients that she uses. The baby is a parasite.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it's taking her nutrients.
Right. Even okay. Well, I mean, you're defeating your own argument by calling it a parasite. Like the whole reason a parasite is a parasite because it needs a host to survive. It needs a host to be alive, right? It needs a host to live. So the fact that a baby, whether you call it a parasite or not, that it doesn't take away its right to life or its value, right? You were once a parasite in that circumstance, right? But I still believe that you have a right to life, and I believe that your life has value, even though you once needed nutrients to grow. You know.
What does being based mean?
No one bases their
Sorry, I'm
the
not chronically
potential
online like
for,
you
like,
losers.
morality.
Gosh.
It's just not murder. You know.
How is it not? How is it? Okay. Okay. Is it killing? Is it? Would you consider it killing? Would you consider it killing?
Like, obviously, don't kill a baby that's like 8 months, like in the womb.
Why not? Why is that different from killing it 1 month?
You can think.
Okay. What about 6 months? What about 6 months?
6 months? No.
What the fuck
Okay,
am I hearing?
what about 4
Oh,
months?
it's so loud.
About 4 months.
Or okay, what about before it has brainwaves and after? No, it doesn't. It's okay if you don't know the exact time, the exact milestones or whatever. But do you
John,
think
jump
the
in,
fact
please,
that
out.
it has brainwaves is what makes its life important?
You asshole.
Yeah, it needs that thing for me.
Okay, so
Otherwise, it's just a clump of cells, right? And what's wrong with killing a clump of cells?
well, what's wrong with killing a clump of cells is the fact that that clump of cells will eventually develop brainwaves. In your case, right?
What is
Can I not eat
based
almonds
mean?
anymore?
What?
What is...
Can I not eat almonds anymore? Because they'll eventually become a tree.
Right, but a
Right.
tree. I don't see the tree as having the same value of life as a human baby.
Oh. What about eating like any type of animal meat?
Right.
Like any
Still,
fish?
animals don't have the same value of life as humans.
I think that's just like a fundamental difference.
Yeah, this
in
is so
understanding.
corny.
I don't
Why
think
are
I'm
you
ready
Do
to
you
do
okay?
that.
Do you think that animals do have the same value of life as humans do?
Why are you whispering?
I think.
Because
not
if you
really,
do,
but
then you have
I
to
think,
be
like,
vegan or vegetarian, right? And if you
that was a
don't,
bad
then we
example
agree,
of
and it's
mine,
not
but
a
I think it's
fundamental value.
fundamental, just like difference in like thinking, because
Yeah,
I don't see
but,
how you would care about what it could be, you know, because
Well, I care about what it could be
anything can
because
different.
that's where it's going. That's
Because
where the
baby
natural
could grow up
process
to be
leads
the
it
next
to.
Adolf Hitler,
Right, but what are the
But-
chances of that? I mean, every single time anyone's born, you're taking a chance that it's not going to grow up to be the next Holocaust man, right?
Can this door hurry up and answer
Well,
my
I don't know.
question, please?
Either way,
I
if
don't
you
have-
outlaw abortion, just like shown in Texas, you know, that John Hopkins study, it raises infant mortality, and it, you know, it's just not very good. I feel like if we have to have a trade-off between like infant mortality going back 20 years, which it is, we should probably, you know, choose killing the zygote that has no brainwaves and that is not human or conscious yet.
Right, so
order
banning
to
abortion.
benefit the babies that are actually alive and not overload the foster system anymore.
Right, so killing the babies that are still growing. 1 second, 1 second, egg. So aborting the babies, right? I would see as
why are
not
y'all
much different
debating
from.
an abortion in a Roblox game? Oh no, y'all are doing this shit in Roblox?
And why not?
Yeah, I'm.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right.
Sorry, okay. So I think aborting a baby, stopping it from ever having a conscious experience, stopping it from ever having a life is wrong because even though it isn't yet having those things, it eventually will, right? Just like with the orange juice analogy, even though it's still just a cup of juice, you need to give it time to become a popsicle, which is the end result, right? That's what we want in the end, is for it to become a popsicle. Just because it's a cup of juice doesn't mean it doesn't have any value, because eventually it will be a popsicle. You need the cup of juice first for it to ever be a popsicle.
You're on the guy just as the rancherito.
Yeah, but
Well,
the
I
thing
need to
is
use the analogy
that
because
we
he's not
outlaw
making the
abortion,
connection.
restricting
He's
women's rights, and you're creating more infant mortalities because
Right. So
I
banning
don't understand
anything,
the metaphor.
banning
because
anything.
they can't get these safe abortions that they need, and they also can't get them
I
if they
feel
can't
like if you
support
get
them,
the
'cause
analogy,
kids are expensive, right?
then it's a good
And
analogy.
you're just like actually harming like people that are actually alive.
Doesn't matter
and
how
not just,
accurate it
like,
is.
puppet cells.
Well, okay, wait. You
No.
just do one
If
point
we
at a time
get
because
it,
you're doing the women's
and it
rights
makes
things with
sense
the
in the
legal abortions
context,
thing,
then it's a good
as well as
analogy.
like the kid having a
not
bad
saying
childhood
that-
thing. Also, Za, just like unless you want to argue with me or like have our own
Yes.
discussion, just like stop making comments. There's no point in it. Okay, so
You were
What
supposed
if
to
we all
compare.
start
In the
a
case
Dork
that-
circle and be friends?
in
I like that
the
guy's idea.
in the case that okay, if you ban anything at all, if you make anything at all illegal, it's gonna lessen the amount that it happens. It's not gonna completely eradicate it, of course. It's still gonna happen sometimes.
Crystal.
But it's gonna lessen the amount it happens by a ton, and that's my
know.
goal. You would be saving more lives than you're ending. You know,
But they're not lives. They're zygotes.
they are lives because they're alive. Whether it's a
They're
zygote or
fetus.
not, it's alive. It has living cells. If you cut off that mother's supply to those living cells, the cells will die, and then it, like, you can't die without having been
Tumors
alive
are
in the
also
first
living
place.
cells. Try like knock
Right,
off
but-
tumors because they.
No, because the
Oh.
tumors won't eventually grow into a human baby and have a conscious experience in the same capacity that you are right now.
Yeah, but what you're doing is you're harming like people that are actually already alive. You know what I'm saying?
There's a
Right,
difference.
but
This is
harming
like
people that are
John Hopkins study in Texas, infant mortality rose to the levels that they were 20 years ago. Same with women's like mortality during giving birth. It went back to like what it was 20 years ago. We're going back in medical history because people don't want to kill clumps of cells that are just harming people, and people can't afford these kids. That's why they abort them. That's
Okay.
what happens.
I'm not sure I'm understanding
I
your
would much
point. Can
rather
you-
kill 1,000 potential lives or to save a life that's actually, living. Because, yeah,
Why?
I want to go now. It's my piece.
Oh, okay.